Hello, in this video I am going to be talking about shame. Now I work with many adult children of alcoholics, and I also teach a class for adult children of alcoholics. Therefore, I am going to be using the alcoholic family as an example. However, any kind of a dysfunctional family, it might hold similar ways of functioning that allow a person to feel massive shame as an adult. So in the alcoholic home, the child begins to develop shame for various reasons. The first reason is due to holding secrets. An alcoholic family has secrets, like they don't want other people to know what's going on in their household. So children, they intuitively know, or they're explicitly told by their parents to not share with others what might be going on in their home. So that is one of the first ways that a child begins to experience this feeling of shame. They begin to feel that there is something odd about their family, therefore something odd about them. This concept of holding secrets from other people makes them feel different, and that is very frequently some of the first experience of shame that a child feels from an alcoholic family, family that where drugs are used, or otherwise dysfunctional family households. The second reason is that the children feel that they are bad because the parents are engaging in these destructive behaviors such as drinking, using drugs. So they feel that if they were not as bad as they are as children, then their parents would not behave the way that they do. They wouldn't engage in these kind of behaviors. Also, it could be that the codependent parent, so let's say if one parent is an alcoholic, the other parent is the codependent, frequently the codependent parent will actually kind of teach their child to walk on eggshells. So the codependent parent, for example, the non-alcoholic, is actually going to teach their child ways of behavior to not get the alcoholic parent wound up, emotionally overwhelmed, so that they won't drink. So the child begins to feel like it's somewhat in their control, and they begin to experience even more shame. Let's say if their alcoholic parent begins to drink again, they feel like it's their fault. So I must be bad if these things are happening to me. It's also much easier to think that you are bad as a child than to realize that you're living in an abusive household. Kids don't really have the capacity to do that. So it's always about them, the way that the child's brain is structured. So that can infuse lifelong shame as well. The other reason is the overly critical voice of the parents. Once again, in a dysfunctional family or an alcoholic family, because the alcoholic is unable to process their own emotions, they usually project those emotions onto other people. So alcoholics are frequently hypercritical, and they're going to project their anger, they're going to project their frustrations, they're going to project any kind of negative emotions, including shame, onto their children because they're unable to tolerate it within themselves. So they want to put it on somebody, kind of like tossing like a hot potato, putting it on somebody to help them process their emotions. In their mind, in their subconscious functioning minds, they think that that is going to help them tolerate those emotions better. So all this projection, being hypercritical, codependent parents frequently see their child as an extension of themselves rather than a separate being, and so those projections also extend to their children as far as being hypercritical. So all these factors that are already going on in the home are already infusing massive shame for the child, the feeling that they're bad, this feeling of over responsibility, being criticized. Then the child goes out into the real world, they go to school, and they're already walking in there with kind of like a cloud over their head. They're already not feeling very good about themselves. They have already been told by their parents that they are not very good. They've already been told to keep secrets. They already feel that their family is different, that they have something to hide. And so what that does, kind of like from an animal world perspective, is that other kids feel it. Other kids, they can feel who they're going to bully, who is kind of allowed to get bullied. You rarely see children from good, loving, supportive families get bullied in school. If that happens, that's going to end very quickly. So usually the kids that are getting bullied, the scapegoat children, the kids that are really having a hard time in school, are these kids that are coming from these more negative backgrounds, from homes that aren't very supportive, from homes that aren't very loving. So then that adds another layer. Then the child is in the social world, and they almost get this confirmation that there is something in fact wrong with them, that they are bad in one way or another. So see how the cycle continues. It first starts out in the home. It starts out from the standpoint of the dysfunction of the family, and then it actually translates onto the environment because the child is already carrying this very, very heavy backpack, and additional trauma is being formed over there in the schoolyard. Even teachers sometimes treat these kind of kids worse. They get discriminated against. Though the teachers feel like maybe the family is dysfunctional, and so the teachers might even have this bias, and then this once again adds to the feeling that I'm bad or that there's something wrong with me. Now that you are an adult, how do you know that you are experiencing shame? So, shame, just like self-esteem, it's not a global concept exactly, right? And shame is also an important emotion. Shame does tell us when we're acting inappropriately. So a certain level of shame is very healthy, and it's very good, and it kind of serves like a leash to, pull you back. Like if you're at a restaurant and you're being rude to the waiter, you did something you're not proud of, you might have this kind of acute pinch of shame, like a little bit of acute shame. It's like, oh, why, I don't know why I behaved like this. This isn't right? And especially, adolescents, they experience a lot more shame than adults, and I think it's because they need this shame function to learn how to function in the world. That it's like getting their, leash pulled back, and to feel like, that, maybe it was not a very good behavior, maybe I didn't act very well. So shame is healthy, and it's here to tell us when we're not behaving well. Now there's shame that is destructive to us, and this shame is very deeply embedded, and it comes from all these factors that I just talked about. But so many adults, they experience shame and they don't even know it, particularly if it was embedded in them in childhood. So the way that you can kind of assess yourself and figure out if you're experiencing shame is look at your matter of personal strength. Do you feel that you're weak, incompetent, stupid, fundamentally? Not to say that maybe you're having a little bit of difficulty with the project and you feel like you need to improve yourself. That's one thing. But fundamentally, if you're feeling like you're weak, incompetent, and stupid as far as your kind of personal growth capacity, your personal strength, that sounds like could be some unproductive shame going on there. If you're experiencing a sense of helplessness, if you feel like you constantly need to depend on people, you can't do things on your own, that sense of helplessness also tells you there might be a little bit of might be shame going on there. As far as comparing yourself to other people, competition, constantly feeling that you're a loser, constantly assessing yourself to be worse than other people is an indicator of unproductive shame. Personal attractiveness, you're feeling like you're unattractive, you feel that everybody can see your flaws, everything that you can see in yourself, you think other people can see too, and you think that other people have contempt for you. So if you're feeling like you're very, ugly, and you can point all these things out in yourself, and you might even get upset at people for noticing it too, because you're so convinced that they see the same thing that you see. That's unproductive shame. Sexuality, feeling like something is wrong with you sexually, you feel like you don't measure up somehow, probably some toxic shame. Issues of being seen and seen, so when you're around people and you feel like you want to disappear, you feel people are looking at you, judging you, you feel an immense sense of discomfort, and having fears about closeness, feeling that you are unlovable, that you don't belong, thinking that you might be alone forever, that nobody is going to love you, that you don't deserve love, putting yourself in this kind of just putting yourself into a category of people that are going to be alone forever because of some perceived flaws, either physical, sexual, character, intelligence kind of flaws. That is destructive shame. So why is it important to address shame if you feel that you have this background, if you're experiencing this as an adult? The reason why is because shame makes us withdrawn from the real world. It makes us withdrawn from other people, makes us withdrawn from potential beautiful experiences that we can have, and it sucks our energy out. So if you're facing this toxic shame, you're putting yourself in a category of people that are outside of, doing these cool activities and engaging with other people, creating better relationships, deeper relationships, making new friends, expanding your network, expanding your circle of friends, getting new hobbies. So you're unconsciously excluding yourself out of all of these possibilities. And another thing is that your energy is being focused on these on maintaining the homeostasis of shame. So if you're experiencing a lot of shame, I bet you're doing things to manage your homeostasis. You could be drinking alcohol, watching too much TV, reclusing, sleeping a lot, exhibiting these symptoms of depression. Sometimes people think they're very depressed. Actually, they're just experiencing very deep shame. So your energy is going into maintaining feeling somewhat good despite of experiencing this deep shame within yourself. And this is why shame needs to be addressed. Definitely check out my self-help tools with other videos. I also do one-on-one coaching, so finding a therapist or booking a session with me. If you did come from a family of where drugs and alcohol was abused, I do have an 8-week course. It's included in the links below. You can check that out. That does talk a lot about shame. So definitely look for help, look for other people. They can help guide you. Look for self-help tools to address this, because if you're going to keep living in this kind of toxic shame, and it's that something that's going to be a part of you, you're just excluding yourself from a lot of beauty that you can be experiencing in life. So I hope you found this video useful. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be making more videos in this series about various emotions, emotions that people can be stuck with, particularly if they grew up in a traumatic household. Be sure to like this video. If you like this video, leave in the comments below what you think, what your experience with shame was, if you found this useful. And I will see you in my upcoming videos. Have a great week.